In the heart of the Nevada desert, a city rises from the dust and sand like a mirage. Its neon-lit streets are lined with towering casinos, hotels, and entertainment venues, drawing millions of visitors from around the world each year. This is Las Vegas, a city of glamour, excitement, and possibility, where dreams are made and fortune won and lost in an instant. But the story of Las Vegas is not just one of glitz and glamour. Behind the bright lights and shiny facades lies a darker history, one of organized crime and corruption that helped shape the city into the gambling empire it is today. For decades, the mob controlled much of Las Vegas, using their influence and muscle to build casinos and hotels, skim profits from the gaming tables, and keep their rivals in check through violence and intimidation. In this video, we will explore the rise of Las Vegas as a gambling mecca and the role that organized crime played in its development. We will delve into the stories of famous mobsters like Bugsy Siegel and Tony Spilotro, and the legends and curses that have come to define the city's history. From the Stardust skimming scandal to the specter of the Siegel curse, we will examine the highs and lows of Las Vegas, a city that embodies the American dream like no other. Las Vegas was first settled by Mormons in the mid-1800s, but it was not until the 1930s that the city began to take shape as a gambling destination. In 1931, Nevada legalized gambling, and a few years later, construction began on the Hoover Dam, which brought thousands of workers to the area. As more and more people came to Las Vegas to gamble and party, a small but powerful group of mobsters began to take notice. One of the first organized crime figures to get involved in Las Vegas was Benjamin Bugsy Siegel. Siegel was a notorious gangster from New York City who was sent to California in the 1930s to help establish the West Coast operations of the Italian-American Mafia. Siegel quickly fell in love with Las Vegas and saw the potential for a major gambling empire in the desert. With the backing of his bosses in the Mafia, Siegel began to invest heavily in the construction of a new casino called the Flamingo. Siegel's vision for the Flamingo was grandiose and expensive, and he soon found himself running out of money. He turned to his associates in the Mafia for additional funding, but they were growing impatient with his lack of progress. He was killed in 1947, just a year after the Flamingo's opening. Some believe that he was the victim of a hit ordered by his former associates, who were unhappy with the amount of money he had spent on the casino. Others speculated that he was killed as part of a larger power struggle within the criminal underworld. Despite his untimely demise, Siegel's legacy lived on in Las Vegas. The Flamingo continued to operate and was eventually bought by a legitimate businessman, but the Siegel curse lived on in popular imagination. For years, visitors to the Flamingo would whisper about the bad luck associated with the casino, and some even believed that Siegel's ghost haunted the property. Despite Siegel's untimely demise, the Mafia's interest in Las Vegas only grew stronger. Over the next few decades, organized crime families from across the country invested heavily in the city's casinos, hotels, and nightclubs. The mobsters were attracted to Las Vegas for a few reasons: the city's lax regulation and enforcement, the huge profits to be made in gambling, and the opportunity to launder money through the casinos. Some of the most infamous mobsters to operate in Las Vegas during this time include Anthony "Tony the Ant" Spilotro, who was sent to the city by the Chicago outfit in the 1970s to oversee their operations. Spilotro was known for his brutal tactics and was eventually beaten to death by his own associates in 1986. Another well-known mobster in Las Vegas was Frank "Lefty" Rosenthal, who served as the inspiration for the character of Sam Ace Rosti in Martin Scorsese's film Casino. Rosenthal was a sports handicapper who ran the Stardust, Fremont, and Hacienda casinos for the Chicago outfit in the 1970s. He was known for his business acumen and his ability to spot cheaters, but he was eventually forced out of Las Vegas after a failed attempt on his life. Another major incident in the history of Las Vegas was the Stardust skimming scandal. In the 1970s, the Chicago outfit owned several Las Vegas casinos, including the Stardust. The casino's manager, Frank "Lefty" Rosenthal, was a master at skimming profits off the top, siphoning millions of dollars into his own pockets. However, the FBI eventually caught wind of the scheme and launched a massive investigation. In the end, Rosenthal was forced to leave Las Vegas, and several other casino executives were convicted and sent to prison. Despite the shady dealings of the mob in Las Vegas, there is no denying that their influence helped to establish the city as a major gambling destination. During their prime, the mob made an estimated $1 billion from their operations in Las Vegas. However, their control over the city was not to last. In the 1960s and 1970s, the federal government launched a crackdown on organized crime, and many of the mob's top figures were either arrested or forced to flee the country. By the 1980s, the mob's influence in Las Vegas was on the decline. Law enforcement agencies had begun to crack down on organized crime, and the federal government had passed new laws making it easier to prosecute mobsters for their illegal activities. The city's casinos had also begun to change hands as large corporations began to invest heavily in the industry. Today, Las Vegas is still a major gambling destination and one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. While organized crime no longer controls the city's casinos, the legacy of the mob's influence can still be seen in the architecture, the entertainment, and the overall culture of Las Vegas. Despite the fact that the mob's reign in Las Vegas was often marked by violence, corruption, and greed, it is undeniable that their influence helped to shape the city into what it is today. The gambling industry that the mob helped to build is now a major part of the American economy, generating billions of dollars in revenue every year. In the end, the story of the mob's involvement in Las Vegas is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the corrupting influence of greed. While the city has come a long way since the days of Bugsy Siegel and Tony the Ant, the legacy of the mob's influence will always be a part of its history. And with that, the video concludes. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the like button. Bye.